Hi everyone. In this video, I want to show you my preferred workflow for segmenting an audio file using ELAN. Now, this segmenting an audio file will be useful if you're wanting to create word clips or transcribe a long text, or there's lots of many uses for this, and I use this very often when I'm building dictionaries or writing grammars or working with language communities. So this is a good skill to know. Now, in ELAN, this is a pretty powerful program, and the more you become familiar with it, the better. Um, so I've already when you open it up, this is what you'll see, this page, and I've already set it up already. So I'm not going to talk in this tutorial about how to set it up. In another one, I talk about how to organize your data. But just so you know, this Cubeo means that this is the language I'm working on, and I want to translate it into English. And then this number is metadata stuff, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And what I want to do, this is a audio recording of a word list of a speaker giving me uh, 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 or repeating words in a word list. And so I just want to segment those words so that I can analyze those words either phonetically or include them in a talking dictionary or whatever. And so in ELAN, there's a hard way to do it where you have to manually go and tell the computer, the program, where you want the segment to occur, and then you can transcribe it. But also built into ELAN is a quicker way to do all of this. So once your ELAN database is set up, what you need to do is you go up to options here and go on to segmentation mode. Now, there's a number of options here. You should play around with them and find out which one works best for you. I've used all of them, but I tend to use the 2 keystrokes more. It seems to work better for my workflow. But see what works best for you. And what's going to happen is, as I play this audio, every time I push the enter key, it's going to mark a boundary, either the beginning or the ending boundary of a segment. And so let me just show you how that works. So as I go along, as I push enter, it's marking what I want to include, what elements I want to talk about in this audio file. You can already see this is going to go way faster than manually doing it like in the ELAN in the annotation mode. The problem with this is it's real time, and so if it's an hour-long audio file or video file, it'll take you an hour long to segment all the elements that you want to do. But still, that's not that much time. You can speed it up, so let me just go to controls here. You can speed up the speed. Now this will distort the audio a bit, so if you're not familiar with the language, I don't recommend doing this. But if you listen to this, if you speed it up and listen carefully and watch the waveform, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. So do this and you can get through it a little bit quicker. And so every time I hit this enter key, it's creating a boundary where I want to make a transcription later on. And this is a little monotonous, I admit, but it's a whole lot better than the manual method. Now, once I get this all done, let me go back to the annotation mode. Annotation mode is what you see when you first open ELAN, and you'll see that all those segments are now made in the right tier, in the Cubeo tier. But what I want to do is I want to copy each of these segments to each of the tiers for reasons so that I can transcribe it all easier. So what I'm just going to do is go up to tier here and just create annotations on dependent tiers. And Cubeo, the first thing is this menu pops up, and you have to select which tier has which one is the primary tier and has the segments that you want to copy, and Cubeo has that. So I'll click next, and I want it copied on both English and number for my data. So I do that, and automatically I get matching segmentations on all those tiers, which saves you lots and lots of time. Now, segmenting audio is fine, but it's also important to actually transcribe what the audio says. So I could go through each one of these segments, sorry about that, each one of these segments and put something in there which would take so much time and effort. But there's another way, of course, in ELAN. So if you go to transcription mode, and let me just go to the configure. This configure window will pop up if you haven't used it before, and you choose three. I'm going to choose 3 columns, and source equals Cubeo, and gloss equals English, and number equals number. And I said okay. And what happens is I get this table, and every time I click on one of these squares, only one of those segments that I've already segmented will play. Let me go back down, make it a regular sounding audio again. So you can just go through and just transcribe rather quickly. So I've already segmented 25 things, words in this audio file, and you could just transcribe. Now I've also included a controlled vocabulary in ELAN, so choosing the word is just a drop-down list. For me, if you don't have controlled vocabulary set up, you'll just have to type in the word that you have that you want to include, and that's, again, not going to take less time than doing it the manual way. I find that controlled vocabularies are really good. You can just double click on the word that you want. I find that control vocabularies also reduces in inconsistencies in my own transcription, and if I have people helping me in inconsistencies across transcribers. What was this word? Okay, so there's some examples of that. And then in the English, I can do the same thing. I have a controlled vocabulary there. I'll just go down the list. Oops. Okay, so there it is, and this number I don't have a controlled vocabulary for, so this is just, what this is I want to keep track of the word in this segmentation in the audio and which number it matches to the printed word list that I used to record from. So this will be just a number that I have to put in there. So maybe na is the first word in the word list, so I'll just put 1 and push enter. Maybe and so I can put that for all of them, right? And then J, maybe that's the 133rd word in the word list, and so I can just do that. B is the 20th word or whatever. So you probably went in order as you went through the word list, but I'm just assuming that for the sake of example that I didn't go in order. So now if we go back to annotation mode, we have a really nice segmented file in ELAN. We have smaller chunks, in this case words, that are transcribed in the source language, in the translation target language, and with a little bit of the metadata that I want to talk about. I really highly recommend this as the mode of segmenting words or phrases in an audio file. It's quicker. You'll reduce the amount of monotony and time you stare at this computer program drastically, and this is a great addition in ELAN. In the next video, I'm going to show how to extract all of these sounds into individual WAV files, but for now, this is enough.